Hello there and welcome. It is time for another Star Wars Shatterpoint battle report. This is going to be round 2 from our BC Fall Grand Tournament. And in this round, in this match, we have Brett on the right with the Rebels list. He's got Kanan, Ezra, and Rebel Commandos, which is pretty standard, but then pairing that with Luke Skywalker, Sabine, and Lando and R2. So this is an interesting list that he's come up with to get Luke Skywalker back on the table. I know he was trying this out into Cassian and obviously felt comfortable putting this down against Delta as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays. I know Luke is a figure that more people would like to be playing, who's seemed a little under the curve, but Brett, I know, was having some success with him in the lead-up events to this, so it'll be operating on 6 Force with refresh from Luke on his activations. And then on the left, we have Ryan Munzel from Washington State coming up across the border, him as well as his son Donovan. And he's going to be running Delta with Obi-Wan, Rex, and the Republic Commandos. So they will be operating on 5 Force, probably hoping to get some refresh out of Boss if he is able to get some wounds. And he also brought First Contact as the mission, which I know is not a mission that Brett particularly enjoys. There were a couple people at this event bringing First Contact. I was not one of them, but yeah, it's definitely a mission where if you've put a lot of reps into it, and then you can have some advantage over your opponent for sure, kind of knowing the layouts and knowing kind of how it plays. First Contact is definitely still a mission that not everyone has put a ton of reps into, so it's still in the stage where yeah, you can, by just being more familiar with the mission, can be a leg up. So Ryan is obviously first player because he picked First Contact, and let's get started. Looks like they're getting one of the arrows, kind of the arrow toward the screen. Oh, this must be a little bit behind here. Speed it up. And Ryan is getting a first draw fixer here. I'm not sure if that's what he wants. I did attempt to record round 1, but had some technical difficulties. So, but the building near the bottom was not there before. I forget. I don't know if it was just not on the table at all. But anyway, it was definitely not there. But let's see. Fixer is giving Boss a dash, which is going to turn into an advance. So he's going to take a damage for that, cover that further center point. The thing is, I don't know if Fixer is actually going to make it to that bottom middle point. So I guess he's just moving forward, double blotting that one, which will allow Boss to go further into the board later. So he'll be controlling those two. Brett is also controlling his back two, thanks to Rebel Commandos. Brett is going to get Sabine, who's kind of on the wrong side to really affect points, so that's going to be a reserve as well. Oops, I spit that out too much. And so pulling Ezra next, he can definitely go and grab that point. He is, however, a squishy target for Delta Squad. He's going to do a take cover first. Yeah, and then advance forward. I guess I talked about it in the video I recorded before that had technical difficulties, but this Hoth-inspired map was designed and created by Matt LaRose, one of our locals, and it's an incredible looking board for sure. It is a little low on ingress points, but Ezra was able to navigate that fairly easily, score his 3, and then but I think we did kind of swap out, or I turned the camera around to the other table on day 2 because they were finding some kind of difficulty playing on this board because there are large areas where you really just can't shove people at all because it's kind of created trenches instead of small elevated areas. Looks like Obi-Wan's going to go into reserve and get his jump into the shatter point. Or no, 7 Scorch maybe. Because they get to dash towards an enemy character. And yeah, so we'll see how it plays out in this match. This board, but very, very thematic and incredible looking board for sure. So they're getting their dash. There, I think he's looking at moving to be within 3 of Fixer in order to get the hunker. This one's going to move to ladder and up. Looking at the terrain now to make sure they're on the same page with that. Having the gun from the turret not block shoves. So Scorch is going to move and stay within 3 of Fixer in order to get their hunker. I wonder, yeah, they're going to do do the shots. Probably hoping for the shove and follow up onto that point. And then Sev, or Scorch, probably going to shoot at the Rebel Commandos. Hope to get maybe a double shove for the follow up onto that point. Oof, bad roll on defense. So getting a full tree on that one, because it was, well, the 2 expertise, 2 hits. There might be a die off screen. So, yeah, getting the 2 shoves and whoops, and a climb, so that should get him there. So shoving him off, fill up to the edge. Another shove back. Fill up off the building. Climb to sit him in the position. It's going to be hard to shove him off. Gonna looking at the other shot on Ezra, but he's going to be out, so shoot a commando instead. They do have a reposition on their expertise when they're hunkered. We'll give them some extra dice. So 1 down on this attack. So it could get a shove and follow up. Yeah, damage and a shove. Gonna see if the shove, the follow up gets him onto that point. But Rebel Commandos do get their reposition 1-1, staying out of engagement to avoid losing his hunker. Looking at explosives, because the if he uses more explosives, she is going to do, and that wounds Ezra, then that will not set off Kanan's revenge trigger. Sounds like only 1 damage got through, but that will also give him a strain. So he'll score 3, and then on the middle, they'll both get a momentum. So, looks like Ezra has 6 damage. I'm not sure if they marked the strain, but if he is strained, the strain's going to kill him. If he does anything. Commandos are getting pulled. They can. It's going to do Commando Doctrine, give him a dash, hunker, and focus. So 1 will be trying to push Scorch away, and the other one probably just get some damage into Sev. I don't think he's going to be able to shove him. Potentially only 1 shove through Steadfast, so definitely not going to get him off the point, but if they can get enough damage through, could think about wounding, but see how the rolls go. 4 blocks, crit to hit. Looks like just 1 getting through for damage and a pin, down to no damage because of protection. So they're gonna take a shot across. Another pin of damage for 1 damage getting through. So yeah, that was an unfortunate whiff on that one. Yeah, looking at whether or not to ditch the hunker for a heal and dash, but really no reason to do that at this point. Both commandos have an action left. Yeah, so the rebel commando that was down near the bottom from our perspective um, has now dashed into engagement with Scorch, scoring just 2. Rather than climbing up by Sev, the bottom middle, which would have just tied the point. He's not really on the point either, but So Ryan has pulled the Shatter Point, so they're going to resolve the mission ability, where you can either refresh 2 force, dash somebody, but then you can't activate that character. It's your turn, or you can put someone in reserve if you don't already have someone in reserve, which Brett does at this point. He's just going to dash Kanan forward. I believe Ryan went with the refresh because his force is back up to 5. So Boss is going to activate. Boss, Scorch, and Fixer are going to get a dash. So Fixer just dashing so that he has line of sight on the Rebel Commando. I'm going to make sure he's can get his Fixer dice on this from String Him Along, and we'll mop him up. So if he's attacking into the Rebel Commandos, he can get 2 extra dice. So Boss is going to take a damage, get a full advance. Scorch is going to just move into the corner. Moving to a corner point, or at least looking at it, which is interesting. So attacking the commando, getting the 2 fixer dice. I'm not sure which side. I think he can one-shot on wet work. Oops. So getting 4 steps. Looks like he's on wet work, which would do 7 damage and disarm. 1 short. Disarm and strain. Yeah, they're okay. He said it was a wound, but they're 8 health, not 7. Um, okay, he did. Right. Um, yeah, Scorch did do a damage, that damage and a shove, which gets a wound. Refresh 2 force, which doesn't matter because it's already refreshed. So Kanan just healed and dashed, jumped forward. Oh, I see. So he wants to get within 3 of that objective so that he could potentially bomb Ezra, which will do 2 damage. Is that a wound? He is 8. I thought he was 9. So spending 2 force, getting the 2 damage. So did the move action to within 2, so that he gets the dash and hunker off the bomb as well. So that's 2 wounds on boss's turn. So full force, he has scored 4 here. So that's definitely a big swing for him there. And rather unscathed by the Kanan revenge. So Brett is now getting his shatter point. Brett's just going to take the refresh. Ryan's going to dash boss onto Brett's mid back point, or the mid right point from our perspective, putting 2 hunkered Delta Squad bodies on that point. He basically needs Kanan. Well, no, he pulled the shatter point, so he could have Kanan or Ezra go for the far, like the bottom middle point, so the midline point for them. Um, However, he doesn't really. I mean, have to come on the other side of him with Kanan to be able to force push him. I don't know if he can really get that. I mean, he can. Yeah, I mean, he can get the middle point potentially. Uh, yeah, it's not a great situation because just the angles to be able to force push, and then trying to push another one off with an attack, it would be just then there's the hunkers, right? So he's doing a dash and climb. Looking like he's picking up some dice, so we'll be shooting Sev. Jeepers. 4 blocks crit to hit again with a climb. So 1 crit is going to get through for 2 damage. Sev gets a climb and gets to decide if he wants to ditch the hunker. So yeah, got rid of the hunker to recover and dash. Now Brett's trying to determine if he can actually push him off. But it looks like, yeah, it looks like they found an angle where he could. So he does flip the point, though, from a different elevation. So he just needs to, whenever someone can move Sev back onto that point, it'll be back. So he did score 2 there, lands them on 0 for a momentum each. So yeah, if he pulls Rex here, that'll work to get Sev back on the point and score 4. Otherwise, he needs a wound or to try and go for that other back point. Looks like he's getting the commandos instead. Defensive maneuver, 1 climbs, the other dashes that they get their hunker. Wonder if they'll just move forward and take some shots at Sabine. Looking at how far he would have to get to be within 3 of 7 Scorch. See if he could do the Rule 17, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So the one that's up is going to just go on the gantry near the kind of second from the top middle point. The other one is going to climb within 3 of Fixer so that they get another hunker from ending their move action. No extra delta dice. Gonna throw a couple shots into Sabine. Straight 5 blocks. Oops. We 3 crits on that. Three down to 2. Pin strain. Just the one able to get the attack there. Scoring 3, so now the struggle cube is next to his momentum. Oh yeah, Ryan realizing that if he set off Rule 17, if he was able to get them within 3 of Scorch, Rule 17, yeah, you get to choose a character in the unit, so it doesn't have to be the one who was within 3. And so yeah, that could have dashed Sev onto that point for 4. Luke is getting an advance here. Or maybe just a dash. Not sure who would have given him an advance, so throwing a shot into Sev. I don't know if this must have been Sabine. Oh, this must have been Kanan going. Gave the dash to Luke. Just doing an attack into Sev. 3, getting through for 5. Sev is not on an active objective, so he does take the full 5. Gonna do the 2 shoves. So shoved him a little bit, followed up, give him another shove, probably follow up down on the point, keep it, take the 2 and a momentum. He was looking for either 4 down the tree or 3 expertise to get a reposition, because then he could reposition and move to the point with Fixer. So the mid left point towards Ryan, and hope to get into position for a force push in order to flip a point, but did not quite get to either of those repositions because he needed either 3 expertise or 4 down. So Ryan is going to finish off the struggle in this turn because he's already going to be scoring 3. So We'll see who he picks. It'll either be Obi-Wan or Rex, I think. Which I think Obi-Wan is in reserve, so he can kind of can choose whichever he wants. Yeah, probably. Yeah, not a bad time to go with Obi-Wan and just hunker him. Yeah, on that um, on that top point. That's so it's kind of the midline left point from Ryan's perspective, because that does have a high frequency of being active. So, and yeah, that is one of the choices, but Brett will pick the one that has the center active, the bottom mid, yeah, the bottom point, middle point from our perspective that Kanan is on, and then the point that Sabine, Lando, and R2 are still on in his in the top right, as well as the top left, which Ryan just moved Obi-Wan off of, and I don't think Rex is in range of it, but Rex will go soon here. So checking the center point to see if Boss is in range. Sabine is in reserve for Brett, but she is pinned and strained, which is not great for her. She will give Luke, or no, he probably picked, because yeah, acknowledged Sabine's not going to do much for him. If he can just get Luke to the center, then he will score 3, which is good. Be a good start for him. Does give Ryan the opportunity to change the card out, but Luke refreshed to force, got a jump off of his attack ability. The problem is, if he moves in and attacks Boss, Boss could remove the hunker and dash up the ladder, which would end up tying that point. He's moving in for that attack. Gotta pay 1 to coordinate fire damage from the Rebel Commandos. Okay, 4 through. Looking like Saresu to 4 steps, yeah, 7. 7 damage, 2 shoves, jump, pin. Shove's not going to get him anywhere. Does get the wound, so doesn't have to worry about the hunker dash. So scores the 3 on that. Ryan considering whether or not to flip the struggle. Okay, so Rex got thrown into the bottom on the Obi-Wan reserve, so next card would be Boss. spend a force to flip. Getting the diamonds. So either, yeah, so it looks like he's going for kind of their mid back points and then the closer midline points. So not the far outside points that Obi-Wan and Kanan are on, the slightly closer ones. So I don't think any of them. Well, no, the Republic Commandos are on one of them. Otherwise, they are all not contested. Yeah, not contested at all. He's picking boss. Interesting. Oh, yeah, okay. He's gonna try to advance over to an ingress point closer to the top. But would get him, if he can get up that. Well, if there is a ladder there. But it's going to take a shot at Sabine. Possibly look for the wound. It's gonna flop into not rapid fire. Whoops. It is rapid fire. So taking. Oh, it was 7 Scorch got wounded earlier. Not boss. Oops. So he's gonna get 4 down. So you can only do 4 damage here, down to 3. And then could bomb for another 2, but that would leave her 1 away. Oh yeah, she gained the pin while Luke was nearby, so so she would have lost it when he activated. It's me coming by to check on things and try and get the dice trays more on the camera. So he's going to do 4 down to 3, the shove, recover 2, and then do the bomb. But he's going to bomb Fixer's Point. I wonder if he has somewhere. Oh, okay. Just thinking about, yeah, who's going to try to climb up to that, his back point, mid left, but there's no ingress point that's going to allow him to get up. So instead, he's going to go to the middle with Luke, so that he ties that point. Well, so that he tie breaks the point, I mean. And then Bosk is going to do a climb and score 2. The other 2 will remain uncontested. So then he will score 2 and a momentum for not crossing 0. So it's either Sabine from reserve or Lando and R2. But either way, he's only going to get 1 point really on this turn. Unless Sabine can dash Kanan within 2 of that. That's slightly in midline point, which it does seem like he can. So that will help him take 1. Just going to heal off the strain because she was at 5 out of 8. And she's going to have to attempt to do something about that Republic Commando doing the fireworks. So objective within 4. He rolled 5 and only 1 expertise, so just 1 damage off of that. So he'll still have to do 7 in order to get the wound, because otherwise they're gonna get rid of the hunker and just tie up that point again. Can get it on 4 steps. A lot of fails, but they're also getting the 3 expertise for the reposition. Sabine gets 3 through. Could do 5 and strain. 5 down to 4. Well, then it remains tied though. Yeah, doing the 5 damage and strain, because with the double shove, they just end up coming back. It's going to get rid of the 2 hunkers. They'll each get a recover. Both get to dash. Can't quite dash back to that other point, but so one dash forward to stay on the point, the other dashed kind of sideways. I guess knowing that Rex is coming up, he's kind of covering the farther in middle point on Ryan's side. So starting off with the turn with 2 points, Rex will definitely be able to get that 3rd. See, if he moved the commando, if he dashed him towards the active point and then gave him the dash now, could cover that point. Rex could have maybe dashed, moved, hunkered onto the point that Kanan claimed, but from the proper elevation, and potentially scored 4 here if he can actually get the distance. It's kind of crossing the board, but it might have been doable. But it's going to move into um, into attack range of Sabine. Gonna get some fixer dice on this. Coordinated fire damage from the commando. So 2 left, but protection, so he needs to do 3. So across the board from Kanan, so pretty safe. I mean, could do an attack into Fixer or Commandos potentially. It's going to pop up to the proper elevation with that point near the bottom from our perspective. So he's doing the wound on Sabine, shove, and expose. So not going to move Kanan because he is kind of halfway between those two points currently. And Ryan's about to score 3, so he will have an opportunity to flip the card. Rex does defensive maneuver onto the active point at the back, getting a hunker, recovering a damage off the commando. And getting the same card as before, so kind of the pointy arrow. So flipping it back the way it was, center point, far bottom point that Kanan was straddling there, and then the point with Sabine and Lighter R2, as well as the point that is still not covered by anybody top left, but Fixer is going to be actually currently controlling the center unless he can get one of Lando or R2 onto that point. He's going to want to keep one back to score his back points top right. Spending 1 for Mingle. You're just going to get an advance. It's actually looking, let's see. Looks like he's might be looking to do melee attacks into the commandos. Take the follow up to get close enough to that ingress point for the center. Do element of surprise. Probably they were shove on 2. I think the commandos got rid of their hunker. Although they did get dashed. Or no. I don't think they have a hunker. So crit hit damage coming from expertise. For 4 damage and shove. Down to 3. That gets a wound for momentum. They did have a hunker on them. Gets a climb. just towards that corner point, top left. Move action. Lando backs up onto his active top right, and R2 goes on in the center with Luke to, with Luke, get that center point for scoring 3. Alright, so Ryan is picking Fixer, who is standing on the 7. Can recover and dash somebody. So we're going to recover and dash boss. So he's going to dash into the middle of the 2. The 2 points kind of middle on Brett's side. Just because no one's contesting that. The furthest, or closest to Brett's side point, which is no longer active at this point anyway. But if the other one pops up, and if everyone's wounded down there, he can potentially pick that up. So Fixer's gonna drop down, take cover on the other inactive point that's kind of towards the middle, but on Ryan's side. So he's going to score nothing, and Brett will have the opportunity to score 3 again, potentially 4. Ryan pointing out Obi, but Brett pointing out Fixer and his ability to give people hunkers just for moving nearby him. And he does have Rex and Fixer quite close together, so there's potential not only to grab a hunker but also get a recover if they gain that hunker within 3 of Rex. So Brett is 4 away from his momentum, scoring 3 automatically basically. So he either needs to get that 4th point or get a wound. But everyone's looking pretty healthy other than the wounded supports. But at this point, it seems like Ryan is conceding the second struggle, scoring no points like that. And so just kind of electing to set up for struggle 3. So, but I don't know that Brett wants to give him the opportunity to set up more for struggle 3. So I don't know if he has someone in reserve. All right, looks like he's going with Luke. He's gonna jump. He's within range of the center objective, so he can use, I should pull up his card. He can use, you can either profit by this or be destroyed, to dash, which he does not do because it has to be towards the objective, and then make a 5 dice attack into Fixer. Okay, so just 1 crit going through, 2 damage and a shove. Must be on Sarasu. Oh, am I... So because Fixer has a hunker, maybe yes, he does. He could remove it to dash to the newly vacated center point, which would tiebreak that point unless Luke goes back up to it. Which he jumped off the tactic, so yeah, he does still have 2 actions left, so doesn't totally screw up the plan. I think. Because yeah, he's gonna keep the hunker because either way Luke's gonna get to him, and he's going for this wound. So coordinated fire. Looking at coordinated fire damage on that. Oh yeah, I think coordinated fire does usually require a line of sight, but um, not on the rebel commandos. So getting that damage, but only getting 1 through again on Luke's attack. Another 2 damage and a shove, which goes nowhere. Just gonna hop back onto the point. It's gonna ditch the hunker. Whoops. To recover. Looking at the dash, but he doesn't want. Oh yeah, coordinate fire doesn't require line of sight. Or I'm looking at a wolf trooper here. But yes, he doesn't want to make it more difficult to take this struggle. He wants to let it finish off so that he can get into struggle 3. Um, so, and Brett is 1 away, so I mean he's not. Yeah, I think not that the center point doesn't come up, but he wouldn't be controlling that objective anyway. So I do like Fixer on that point because yeah, that does have a decent chance of becoming active in struggle 3 here. So Ryan is pulling 7 Scorch. They get a dash. Each get dash towards an enemy. So he is going to be flipping that bottom midpoint. Scorch just kind of moving in towards the center, it looks like. Do a move action. Sev is going to kind of run around the tower. Move Sev up, kind of more centered on that objective. Oh, that was his shatter point, so not bad to get them, wake them up, but not really the time he wants to get the shatter point, being a turn where he's about to give up the point. Scoring that one on the bottom with Sev. So now Brett is getting his shatter point. He will score the 2 points to get the struggle, but thinking about having thinking about trying again for that fixer wound, which would be good to get fixer wounded. Looking at a double tap into 7 Scorch as well, which getting them double wounded would be good going into struggle 3, as long as they're not able to remove that injured token. But looks like he's going for the fixer wound. Sounds like he's only getting the 2 through. They are double, or no, fixer's just got the 1 hunker. Good hit. Yep, 2 through. So we can get 3 damage, 2 shoves, which aren't really going to do much, but I think that puts him 1 away because it sounded like he had 4 health left. So should hopefully be able to get this wound on the next attack here. So taking that struggle, and Ryan gets to decide which orientation it is. Basically, yeah, okay, so it's going to be the far right point closest to Brett. Boss is on it. Not the center, but the one that's slightly towards Ryan's side. And Fixer will be tie-breaking that against Luke. And then it's the corner points on Ryan's side, which are both empty at the moment. He's got Obi-Wan in reserve. Best pull here would be Rex. I don't know if he's gone within this shuffle, because he could get a 4-point turn, giving Obi-Wan a dash and moving to the other corner point. Obi-Wan could get him a 3-point turn, doesn't really have anyone to attack. Getting 4 blocks. So I think shooting at the commandos here, it sounds like he's just getting an expose on them because they're already wounded. Yeah, that boss. Yeah, not a great pull. He was already on the point. Um, so just looked at trying to get a condition or two on the commando there. Hunker on that point. Secure his two. So commandos are waking up. Now, one could try and go grab that bottom left corner point. Um, the other getting a boss, a hunkered boss off of that point on uh, Brett's side is not super likely. So looking at moving, oh yeah, moving one to the point with Loken Fixer, that would tie. That would be 2-1. So taking that point from Fixer. Oh, I think I got one confused there. Is that? Oh yeah, it's Kanan. That's down near Sev. One's just gonna shoot Fixer, attempt the wound, but ugh, nothing getting through on that. I think he rolled like one hit, so that was obviously getting blocked by Fixer. The other one is taking a shot. Overdoing the expertise. Getting 3 through there. Three damage, pin disarm. Oh, that was into. Was that into Sev? Because it sounds like. Yeah, that protection. Yeah, wasn't in range of Fixer, I mean. So. Taking the two hunkers off. Sev is going to use one of them to dash. Not quite getting to that corner point though. Brett gets 1 point and a momentum. 7 Scorcher activating. Yeah, that could. Yeah, one Sev could get to that bottom corner point. Scorch. Is he? I think he is around the corner. There is potential for him to push Rebel Commando off so that Fixer can tiebreak that one, and then he goes for the top left corner point, which would score him 4, which would be very difficult to recover from because that would put him on his 5. Okay, he's gonna dash in for the melee attack on the Rebel Commando, looks like. Just just gonna take cover for the hunker and a recover from Rex, and just double up on that point. Oh yeah, the dash is off the tactic. So yeah, doing the hunker, get their hunkers back, and they are going to do the attacks into the commandos. Two blocks. Ooh, that's a lot of crits. I think their expertise is hits, so that looks like it's leaving, yeah, 3 results. Could get 4 damage, strange shove. See if there was an angle where he could have, had range to the commando with not being engaged with Luke. Then he could have shot him off pretty easily, and then moved after, and if he did need to tiebreak that point still, but be able to consider. Um, but I guess the towards angle from that tactic might not have allowed him to go that way. But he's going to get the wound on the commandos, so I'll get a momentum and 3 points on this. So, with the wound, Kanan gets a 2 heals and a jump. So he can consider, yeah, I'm gonna spend force to flip the objective. It's the one that is center, far left, far right from our perspective, and then either the top or bottom. And now Kanan has moved away from that bottom point, unfortunately. But Kanan is going to choose, or Brett is going to choose that point that Kanan moved off. If someone can dash him, he can score that. Uh, it's not horrible. R2 is on that center point, scoring it already. Just looking at Sabine's dash range. I wonder if he's reconsidering which point to make active, but he's gone with Luke and the Shatter Point, so probably not going to be able to go take that point from Rex on the far left. I think you gotta hope for Sabine on this. Not that she's like, she might be able to tie the point with Boss, although because that objective is remaining active, so it'll stay Ryan's. Yeah. Going with the other point, so the top point rather than the bottom point active, and he's pulled Kanan, who is able to dash Sabine onto that top left point, Though Sabine is wounded currently, but at least get her there. And then Kanan is going to move to engage Rex on the far left, flipping his stance. Which one does that look like? That looks like Ceresu. And yeah, getting the Eat Die attack into Rex. Who's rolling 6. Just one block on this one. So he's going to get a full tree on that. Not going to get 9 damage, but yeah, I could max out at 7. Could get a force push from the active. That is nice. Yeah, taking the center path. 2 shove, 1 shove, yes, because of steadfast, the hunker, follow up, and then he'll do his force push. See if that can throw him off the cliff there. Just gonna ditch the hunkers and recover 2 damage. Get a dash kind of forward on that top left point. Scoring, yeah, the center and the left point that Kanan just took. Gets 2 and a momentum. Taking the measurement, seeing how far an advance gets Kenobi. Going with the deck. Not sure if he was close enough to score that top point or to claim it, control it. Oh yeah, and mission critical is called as well, I think so. Commandos are gonna go. Gonna do a hunker within 3 of Rex, which is gonna get a recover, which is gonna take off a fixer. The other one is gonna go towards that top point. Gonna move, go up the ladder. 3 of do move action within 3 of fixer. So gains a hunker from that. Gonna hit R2. No, wait. No, hunker and move. So no attack, but gonna score top and right side for 2. I think they're missing mission critical because he didn't get his momentum on that. Looks like Ezra's activating for Brett. Ezra is, yeah, he's hiding down there. Could go for boss's point. Getting as close to the cliff as possible. Don't know if the jump is quite going to get him there. But if he shoves through, Ryan realizing that if he had not taken cover and done an attack on Lando and R2, or R2 up on the center, that he could have used Rule 17 to get Sev on that point as well to double up. And that would have scored a 3. Ezra's going to attack boss. Oof, 6 blocks. So 1 gets through. Two damage. Disarm from the expertise, it sounds like. Follow up. Boss is still on the point, but Ezra is tie-breaking. 3 and a momentum. Not changing the card, it sounds like. So, going with Rex, moving Sev up for that double body. Rex, yeah, does he want to go? I mean, the closest point is Kanan. Could try to double shove him off the cliff so that he isn't able to dash up if he is. Oh, he's on Ceresu, so he's not going to get any dashes at all. Yeah. Climb within 3 of Fixer. Get the hunker. Recover from himself, which he will take damage off Fixer again. Just desperately keeping Fixer alive. Just gonna take cover within contesting that point. Gets a recover, a hunker from the take cover, and a recover from Rex himself. He's only tying up that point. It'll score him 2, which makes it so that Brett isn't able to flip. And the last card in Brett's deck is Lando and R2. I wonder if he has Sabine reserved. Because she should be coming up as well, I think. This is definitely second time through the deck. Lando and R2 going, move and mingle. Double up on the center. Probably going to be attempting to push the commando off. Lando is going to go first. Nothing getting through on that one. Deciding if he wants to get rid of the hunker for dash, not at the moment. Getting 3 through. Just scoring the 2 again. Momentum. Getting a bit of damage through. Looks like he's getting rid of the hunker for just a move onto the center. Obi-Wan finally having to go here. So yeah, each taking a momentum because they realized Mission Critical was called quite a while ago. So Obi-Wan move, hello there, jump. Gonna do an attack into Kanan. Doesn't have a great angle. Looking at being in range of Rule 17 with Sev, but if he moves him off the point, then he's not going to, he'll lose it. Three crits on the roll. 3 expertise. Crit hit, but I think a crit's going to hit. Gets 3 down. Should get. There was a coordinated fire in there. 5 damage, shove, disarm, expose. Is he gonna be able to get there? I don't know if he's gonna be able to follow up onto that point though. Getting the judge call on that angle. So this is good. Straight sideways. See, I would do the double shove. Get Kanan off. Okay. Maybe it is harder to tell from this angle because we are looking at it a little bit angled. But Obi-Wan is definitely doubling up on that point, which should flip it from Kanan. Score the 3. Mission critical. So right up next to that momentum. And finally, Sabine has to activate. Has to or gets to, I'm not really sure, but she's sitting. I mean, he did score 3, so he could flip, but I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Sabine's just gonna go. looking at attacking commando. I think he's just looking for a wound on this turn just to get that tiebreak number up. Because between mission critical and yeah, board state, it's just not looking good. Again, 2 crits through. 3 and strain. Needed one more step to get the wound there, apparently. Or, yeah. Scoring 1. And momentum, mission critical, but Ryan is gonna score 3, so that'll end the match. So yeah, definitely an explosive start to struggle 1 for Ryan, which made it pretty difficult for Brett to attempt to claw back from, in order to be able to get struggle 1. And from that point, he was able to get struggle 2. Played very well there to basically create a situation where it was kind of a lost cause for Ryan, and he had to let it score out. But yeah, then with going into struggle 3, Ryan getting to choose the first layout, and then mission critical being called. Yeah, Brett was just never able to get it onto his side, which he was getting momentum from not having it on land on his side of the struggle tracker, but just couldn't quite get the objective points scored that he needed to swing it his way. So tough matchup, and I can see how this Obi boss squad is or team could be quite good on first contact, with a good amount of movement. He missed some opportunities where he could have kind of. It's a bit of a gimmicky play, but it is does look like a legal play where the person that dashes with Rule 17 doesn't have to be the person within 3 of the person who did the attack. So, where's the card here? Because yeah, the way it reads is after another allied Galactic Republic unit within 3 makes a combat action, this unit may use this ability. Choose a character in this unit. So that's where it doesn't have to be the character that's within 3 of the attacker. The chosen unit may dash, chosen character, sorry, may dash. If it does, it may make it 5 dice attack, targeting 1 of the same enemy characters within line of sight and range. And so yeah, there were a couple times where he could have used that to kind of move Sev from across the board, which could have helped him, I think, finish off struggle 1 sooner, and might have helped him in struggle 2 a bit as well. But anyway, a solid match, and yeah, I was looking forward to seeing this Luke Kanan squad in action. There were a few times definitely where Luke moving around with his Bubble was able to remove some conditions from people, get rid of some pins. Not sure if we got rid of expose or kept expose off of Lando and R2 maybe. But good match. And so that was round 2. And yeah, thank you for watching. Try to get on to round 3 sooner rather than later. Start getting through more of these matches. And so subscribe for more. Like, comment if you noticed anything maybe I got wrong here, or any comments about the lists, especially Brett's lists. Quite an interesting one, getting Luke on the table, which is nice to see. And thank you to Kenny Brown and Nick Downing, my Patreon supporters. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you all next time.